And we are live. Peace, 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 and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We got a special treat for this full moon. We get the healing information from the Mother Goddess herself. Queen Nigist is in the building, so it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present the others, and welcome back to the platform, the mighty Empress, Nigist Saba Khet is in the building. Peace and love to you,
Yeah.
Empress. How you doing?
Yes, everything is blessed. I'm just here, keeping it balanced, of course, under this full lunar eclipse moon. So tonight is a real special night, not only because we have a full moon, but it's a lunar eclipse for those who did not know that we're in a lunar eclipse right now. And that full moon started this afternoon at 3:12 p.m. Eastern time, of course. And it all begins with life-changing blood moon in Sagittarius. So because this time of the year, the Native Americans will call it a pink moon because that's the times when the strawberries are in bloom in this particular season. And the strawberries is also a symbol of love and sweetness and things like that. So, and then the moon sometimes has like a more darker, it's not so whitish or tannish, it's more like in a darker tone, pinkish or reddish. So you'll hear some may call this actually a blood moon as well. So, yeah, this full moon, lunar eclipse, encourage you to follow your heart. So we're going to be dealing with the heart vibration during this time, kind of like tapping into the importance of the heart and how the heart plays a major role, not only in this full moon lunar eclipse, but just in our daily life and the makeup of who we are and how the heart operates and connects with the brain and things like that. So then we'll talk about it from from other cultures' point of view, and then just kind of like elaborate real deep in detail because I like to get in details again so people could get a full understanding, and then they'll have something to walk away with if they want to go do some research on it and things like that. But yeah, the theme tonight is going to be the heart, dealing with the heart, of course, the full moon lunar eclipse. And then this particular full moon lunar eclipse is based on encouraging you to follow your heart. So the topic that I'm talking about is the heart, and then this full moon eclipse is dealing with the heart. So it's just all in sync, everything is in synchronization. So eclipse season is here with the North Node in Gemini, which is opposite from Sagittarius for those who are familiar with astronomy. And the South Node is in Sagittarius. It's time to say goodbye to the mindset, lifestyle, and philosophies you have outgrown in order to welcome in the new. And this is according to Elite Daily and different resources that I feel like are good sources to refer to, that pretty much goes deep into astronomy and kind of like relates the planet, the planetary systems and how they align and how they affect people during these particular phases, like this lunar eclipse, so to speak. So yes, lifestyles and philosophies you have outgrown in order to welcome the new. In addition to feeling a new conscious awareness to the world around you, focus on following your heart and nurturing your soul's freedom. Eclipses are powerful lunations that bring you towards your destiny, both electrifying and revolutionary. I'm sure we see the revolutionary things going on in this particular time right now. So it's definitely not a coincidence that this whole cycle that we're in, this whole phase that we're in is exemplifying certain energies, fiery energies, electrifying energies, Eclipse takes 3 to 4 times. Eclipse takes place 3 to 4 times a year, although we cannot see some eclipses from Earth. The effects are still very potent and affects the celestial occurrences as it activates the nodes of the moon, also known as north and south nodes. They also go by the nodes of faith. And we have in quotation marks, nodes of faith, given their multi-dimensionalities and karmic influences. The north node symbolizes where the collective is heading, and the South Node symbolizes what needs to be left behind, officially entered the axis of Gemini on May 5th, 2020. So May 5th, 2020, last month, exactly a month from today, this shift happened in the sign of Gemini on May 5th, where this multi-dimensionality and karmic influences symbolizes, the collective is heading in the north, and the south symbolizes what needs to be left behind. That was the time period where things started either going in the either you were functioning under the north direction or you're functioning going in the south direction. And that happened around May 5th. So if you can think back on May 5th, maybe you could remember saying like, yeah, I did remember making a promise to myself that, I'm going to leave certain things behind because it's not serving me good anymore, or I just need to move away from this and start and do something else that's better for me. You may not remember it now, but you can elaborate on it later, just to see if, you were in sync on May 5th when this shift was happening, when this axis entered into Gemini, when the North and the South nodes entered into Gemini on May 5th. So Gemini governs primitive mind, and Sagittarius governs the abstract mind. The collective mission or message here is to stem and focus on the information, facts, and truths you gathered firsthand versus the beliefs you have acquired through your lifetime. So the sun, earth, and moon are perfectly aligned during this eclipse, making this moon especially potent. And here to help you release, let go, shed old ways, what no longer serves your higher good. Trusting the powers of the universe and surrendering to the divine is the key during this time. So Sagittarius is bringing us some positive vibrations. Sagittarius is expansive, worldly, cultural, and open-minded. This lunar eclipse, also known as the strawberry moon, is about bringing down barriers and inhibiting mentalities. Sagittarius is an adventurer at heart, a sign that disobeys rules if they find them unjust and considers the big picture instead of the fine details. Ask yourself, what in your life is holding you back from experiencing all the beautiful things you could experience? What is preventing you from taking a leap of faith and opening your heart to something that contradicts everything you thought you knew? Extend your hands, listen to voices who are unheard, and see everything from a fresh perspective. This lunar eclipse may take you somewhere you never ever expected to go. But it is also important you go there. Trust in what the cosmos have in store for you, because it's all part of your destiny. Whatever happens under a lunar eclipse is meant to happen. Doesn't matter if it's good news or bad news. It's encouraging you to go in a direction you may have been avoiding, a direction you know deep within your heart you are meant to move forward. So that's the vibes for Sagittarius full moon, lunar eclipse. That's the energy we're supposed to be, tapping into, so to speak. So I'm just gonna go right into the heart. I'm gonna go right into the heart, and then later on I will elaborate on this particular day according to the Native American. What archetype are we under, and what does it mean, and what are the dates and things like that. So now I just want to get into the heart, because it's dealing from a scientific and a metaphysical medicine type of thinking, you know what I mean? So I think that's something that we can connect with the whole Sagittarius energy, and also think about bringing our heart to a certain place in life to where we can receive and radiate off certain frequencies. That way we'll connect with the right people, places, and things, and we don't have to worry about, being heartburden or heartbroken, those type of things, So of course the heart is a communicator. The heart is a 10-ounce muscle. Follow your heart, listen to your heart. Most ancient cultures over thousands of years, like ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, China, the Greeks, they all seem to share similar beliefs and knowledge about the heart, of being a source of inner intelligence and guidance, which influences you, directs you, and influences and directs your emotions. It also deals with decision making and your moralities. We know, some of us may know, in ancient Kemet, we have the scales of Ma'at. And when your heart must be light as a feather when you're going through the judgment halls, like after you die from this earthly body and you go through the judgment halls, you will come to a point where you will meet Ma'at, and Ma'at is there with her scales. And on one side of the scale, there's a heart, and the other side of the scale, there's a feather. And that scale your heart needs to be light as a feather. So that scale needs to weigh balance. It shouldn't be the left side up, the left side down. It's supposed to be equilibrium. And then that will determine how you go into the afterlife. You're going to go into the afterlife, of course, but it'll determine on what level of the afterlife will you go. And then it has, on the scale, it has Sobek the crocodile, which is biting at the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra, the fourth level of the scale. There's a crocodile biting at it. And that fourth level is the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra. So, yeah, we'll get into more of the ancient Kemet and Ma'at and things like that, how the heart and the third eye all is in sync with one another, and the brain and things like that. But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, this is something that cultures all over the world, all seem to come into agreement when it comes to the heart, how important the heart is and how the heart relates and functions and, affects us. So in modern science admits that the heart is an informational processing center in the body. And it says that the heart is a complex nervous system. So the heart has its own nervous system. Outside of our body's nervous system, the heart also has its own nervous system. So technically, we have two nervous systems in our body, one in the heart and the other in our body. So this nervous system talks to your head, to your brain, or the heart brain. And it produces a powerful electromagnetic field that is imprinted by your emotions. Our heart influences everything from the way we feel to the way we interact with each other. Our heart at a biological level is talking, but are we listening is the question. Are we listening? So according to, just to add on to what I just said, according to the Munai Nine Rights tradition, this is an Andean Peruvian walk of life, so to speak, or medicine will spiritual system. According to them, regarding the heart, they say, let's see, okay. Let me see, where should I start? Okay, so we'll look at it like this. From a scientific perspective, the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than any other organ in our body. So not only is the heart its own nervous system, has its own nervous system, it's also 5,000 times stronger than any other organ in your body. So stronger than your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your gallbladder, your kidneys, your adrenal glands, your tonsils, thyroids, 5,000 times stronger. The electromagnetic field. So the electricity alone that the heart produces and that the heart, creates, it's 5,000 times stronger than any other electricity part of the organs in your body. And when you express from your heart, you send a powerful vibration into the universe. The laws of physics tells us that like attract likes. So like-minded people attract like-minded people. This means that the world around you will organize to match this frequency and bring this vibration into being. So, if you are sending out negative energy, then you're going to receive back from the universe or from others negative energy. So, what you put out is what you receive. That's, basically to sum that up. And that's coming from a scientific perspective. So, when you live in the moon eye key, you live in harmony with the earth and the cosmos. When you are tuned with this vibration, the universe conspires on your behalf and you are guided in every moment. Just as the hummingbird travels 5,000 miles each year without worry as to how it will make its epic journey, you will be guided to your highest destiny. So the whole heart frequency, like I said, throughout the different cultures, they're basically similar, coming to the same concept, how important that your heart is and how your heart plays a major role, not only for you to live and be able to survive, but also as you're living and as you're going through life and your decision making and how you're interacting and how the universe connects with you and how you're connecting with other people. The heart is responsible for all these things. So our highest quality of feelings and emotions are associated with the heart. You care from the heart, you love from the heart, your kindness comes from the heart, you have patience from the heart, your compassion is from the heart. The heart is also associated with a deeper source of wisdom and knowledge. It's like an intuitive knowingness. It's called an intuitive knowing. It's like you just know in your heart of hearts that this is the right thing to do. Or you know in your heart of hearts that this person is telling you the truth. You know what I mean? It's like that wisdom and knowledge that's just, and nobody can't take it away from you. Once you know it is there, they can tell you whatever they want to tell you. You know the truth. So that bypasses normal logical linear thought pattern. So the linear thought pattern is like this, east to west. The heart is associated with a different and a deeper source of wisdom and knowledge. So it's more like this, more like a 360 type of thing, full circle, not just side to side. So that normal logical linear thought pattern, the heart doesn't associate itself with that, doesn't vibrate with that. This is often called the voice in heart, known to support us with much better choices and directions throughout our life interactions. Our heart, or our voice and intuition, is the voice of our true, authentic self. That is when we are able to move beyond our limitations or what we perceived as limitations. Follow your heart and you will never go wrong. Our accomplishments will surprise you when you do this. So once you start just following your heart, as once would say, you just stepped out on faith and you're like, I'm glad I followed my heart because it wasn't as bad after all. It was the best decision I could have made, or it was the best place I could have went. I'm glad I went. We have to start connecting with our heart more. This is the message from the heart of hearts, the universal heart. We need to start connecting with our heart more. And with this being, a full moon in Sagittarius, which does things at heart, and we're in this lunar eclipse, this is the time to start tuning up your heart, giving your heart that fine tuning. So in ancient Kemet or Egypt, ones may know it, to further elaborate regarding the heart, the scales of Mahat, weighing of the heart, at the judgment scene into the afterlife. Your heart must be light as a feather, meaning your good deeds must outweigh your bad deeds. Not to say that you have to go in front of my eyes, or you're going through the judgment halls with no bad. And that's not what I'm saying here. It's obvious that there's going to be some things that you've done that wasn't so nice. However, your good must outweigh your bad. So within yourself, if you've done more good to yourself and others, or if you've done more bad, you will know that. So in order to enter the afterlife, which will enter it, I wouldn't say in order to enter it, you're going to enter it, but what level are you going to enter? Are you going to enter more on a lower level where you have to go through this karmic reincarnation until you get it right, or you're going to go on a higher level where you don't need to come back anymore. You don't need to return because you're good. You know, your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. So on the fourth level of the scales of Ma'at, like I was saying before, is a crocodile biting. And that crocodile could also be known as Sobek. Sobek Ka. And he's biting on the fourth level or the fourth chakra, not biting to harm or hurt you, but in a symbolic way, rising up from the lower self or the lowest chakras, right? And that, you know, you're rising up from your lower self, from your lower chakras, so that way your enlightenment will start rising. You'll start seeking more enlightenment, you know. And this enlightenment starts at the fourth chakra, which is also a love frequency of care, compassion, kindness, patience, and love. So once you rise up from the 1, 2, 3 chakra, not saying that those chakras are not important, because they are, but once you get to that fourth chakra, that's when you start going through the pantheons of seeking into that higher enlightenment, to that God-like, Christ-like um, self. You understand what I'm saying? You start tapping into that frequency. You start being more of a spirit keeper, or more of a wisdom keeper, or a healer. You know, you start stepping into those categories now, because you have surpassed that Sobek biting on that fourth chakra, making sure you pass that biting. You know, and that biting is not to harm you. Just don't think of it like, oh, he's biting on the scale, he's trying to break down the scales. No, that's just a symbolic picture to show you how you're rising from your lower to your higher, you know, and you're coming past the, like, let's just say, the hardships, or you're shedding those old ways. You know, you're biting off everything that didn't serve you any good. You're biting off those old things that didn't serve you no good, didn't help you in your, you know, evolving. It didn't help you in to build up your spirituality. It just kept you more down on a lower level. So now you're past that biting stage where you're free now. You know, your wings could spread, you know. So if your fourth chakra is light as a feather, you'll pass into the afterlife, and you will go into a more higher levels of the afterlife, you know. So it's more like you to resurrect your soul, to regain unitary consciousness, destroying the ego. The Leo 9 destroys the lower self, and the crocodile is related to the lower self and desires in general. So the Leo 9 fire, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that's another part of shedding those old ways, and having that spiritual fire burn out all those bad habits, old habits, traumas, past life traumas, generational traumas, karmic traumas, and those things like that. And you know, the crocodile is related to the lower self and desires in general. So he's biting at all of that. He's biting at your lower desires. He's biting at that lower self that's not good for you. He's biting at that ego. Now you're past that biting, and you're into that enlightenment stage. You know, now you're ready to learn, you're ready to evolve, you're ready to create a rainbow body where you're no more how could I put it, you're no more a human energy. You're more like a homo luminous energy. You know, your luminous energy field is full. You know, your chakras are clean and they're spinning in the right direction, and you have no attachments. Everything is fine. So to speak in Kemetic terms, we got into the chakras according to the Arat Sekim. It's called the 7 planes of Ra, or the 7 souls of Ra, or the Safech Bara, which are energy centers or spheres. We know them as chakras over here in the West. And it's a mystical system, serpent power consciousness. And it deals with 2 goddesses. So the Arat goddesses, serpent or cobra goddesses, they kind of like raise your consciousness, raise your enlightenment, rise you up to enlightenment. And Sekhem is like the power of energy. And Arat means goddess, serpent, cobra, raised enlightenment. break down those two words is Sekem Arat. And these 7 planes of Ra, or these 7 souls of Ra, they're basically like the chakras, but they're not exactly how you would hear it in the Indian version or in a Chinese version. This is coming from a Kemetic point of view. So it's a little different, but it's basically all relative at the same time. So the first plane or first soul of Ra is the survival, which is the root chakra, according to the chakra system. Then you have the second plane, or the second soul of Ra, which governs sexuality, desires, relationships. And that's called the sacral chakra. And then you have the third plane of Ra, or third soul of Ra, which is willpower, resources, also known as the solar plexus. Then you have the fourth plane of Ra, which is the heart chakra, and that deals with universal love, care, compassion, patience, kindness, virtuous quality. And then you have the fifth chakra, which is also known as the fifth plane of Ra, or the fifth soul of Ra. And that deals with self-expression. And that's also the throat chakra, called the throat chakra, the voice of God. Then you have the sixth plane, or the sixth soul of Ra. And this is like a intuitional wisdom and vision, which opens the third eye, cleansing it with the Ma'at energy, cleansing it with the Nekabed and Wajet, those serpent goddesses, giving you that spiritual fire, that spiritual purging. And it's union of the serpent power, anointing, non-duality, a oneness, like a oneness with yourself. You have reached that one, your whole, so to speak. And the Wajet and Nekabet, they are well, not Nekabet, I'm sorry. Wajet and Aset, they're like they are the throne at which the royal one sits on. So I know you have seen some photos of Asar sitting on a throne, and then you see 2 goddesses next to him, or one in front of him and one in back of him. Okay, one is Wajet, one is Aset. And this is the throne at which the royal one sits on. And Asar sits on the throne of Wajet and Aset, also becoming godlike through a life of virtue and cultivation of the spirit through scientific knowledge, practice, and bodily discipline. Integral shedding old ways, changing for the greater good of yourself. Now, the Leo 9 power, that is the Arat goddesses, the serpent or the cobra goddesses. Their names are Wajet and Nekabet. These 2 goddesses of the Arat Sekim power, they deal with the cobra rising up in a vertical, expanding in a vertical direction, like you will be laying on your back. It's a particular breathing technique that you will use to tap into Wajet and Nekabet. So you will be laying on your back, or you can be sitting up in the lotus position or Nephilim position. And you're going to be doing some deep breathing in and out your nose, where you're actually taking deep, smooth inhales, vertical inhales up, and then you're allowing your rib cage to expand as you're exhaling. Is expanding, and you're exhaling your breath into the rib cage, and you're feeling it expanding. And as you're inhaling again, you're feeling the expansion of your heart rising. So now you're at the heart chamber. So you leave the stomach chamber, then you're in the rib cage chamber, and now you're into the heart chamber. And then this breath is going all the way up. This deep breathing is traveling vertical all the way up into a unitary vision consciousness, into the sixth soul or sixth plane of Ra, which is known as the third eye. And once these 2 serpent goddesses have traveled through those chambers that I just named, and they're on the side of your temples, they're going to come together as one, and like an explosion in a unitary consciousness. And it's like a serpent. They call it like the serpent goddess, but it has wings. It's like a serpent with wings. And in the Munaiki 9 rights system, they talk about the serpent as well, which I'll get into that in a minute. The serpent being the mother of waters, shedding old ways. She is the half bird, half snake, or half cobra, you know. And Kemet is basically saying the same thing, but they just have different names and things like that. But this is dealing with a particular breathing pattern, a different breathing technique when you want to get that spiritual fire going on in yourself and you want to burn out old ways and shed old ways. This breathing helps you achieve this spiritual fire. You know, you have the water to cleanse, and then you have the fire to purify and burn out, you know. So then you have, last but not least, the seventh soul of Ra, which is transcendence, like a deep sleep, that delta wave, that subconscious, or the crown chakra. We know it as in the West, also known as Nebuja, Nebuja. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Neberdjer, Nebuja. And just to continue on the sixth chakra. So you're at the sixth row. You're at the sixth soul of Ra, or the sixth plane of Ra, Wajet. And Wajet represents health, green, green pastures, flourishing. May you become green as I saw, life force. And in some photos you may see I saw, he may look blue black. Sometimes he looks green. Sometimes he just looks black black. So when you see pictures of I saw when he's green, that's what Wajet is talking about. Once you reach that unitary consciousness of the sixth soul of Ra, you may become green as I saw as life force, because green is life, and green pastures, your garden is green, your grass is green. Green represents fertility. So green as I saw as life force, healthy, flourish. May you become green and flourish. Wajet is the single serpent vulture. So sometimes they interchange. She's a serpent also with Nekabet, but then she also represents the vulture. And her royal crown is the sun disk. Her city is Per Wajet. It's in the lower delta, the twin city of Per Heru. So in the Asarian resurrection myth, Heru stayed with Wajet. So Wajet and Aset and Nekabet, they all come in forms of serpents, or the cat goddess Bast. They also come in a cow form sometimes. And Sekhmet, that Leo 9 vibration, power of the spirit, divine self, lady of flames and fire. So the Leo 9 represents power of the spirit. That's the shedding of the old ways. That's that purging fire, that purifying fire. When you get that unitary consciousness, once you reach that unitary consciousness, that's when the lady of flames and fire comes and burn it out. Burn out all the bad ways, burn out all the wicked you could have ever did, burn out all the lies you told, burn out all the hate and jealousy that ever resided in you. The Leo 9 just comes, Sekhmet just comes and burn it out, power of the spirit. So you can be at your divine self again. You can reach that unitary consciousness, and may you become green and flourish. May you become green as I saw as life force, healthy and flourish. Okay, and I can just go on about that one, but I don't want to drag too long on it. So I'm going to explain the Munaiki tradition, which is an Andean Peruvian medicine wheel, so to speak, a part of the 9 rites. They speak about the serpent, which I'm in the process of being an initiate of the Munaiki 9 rites. So I have to study about the different archetypes that they deal with. And each archetype have an attribute. They're associated to something. There's a story behind it. And when you go through these type of atonements or initiations, you have to spend like 14 days dealing with each particular archetype. So if there's 6, 7 archetypes for 14 days, you have to deal with each archetype. So the first archetype is the serpent. And in the Munaki tradition, instead of the serpent dealing with the sixth plane of Ra, they deal with the first plane of Ra, the first chakra. So although, one says sixth chakra, the other says the first chakra, the story is, and the serpent energy is similar. It's still basically the same. Still comes down to the same meaning in a sense, especially when it's dealing with the integral shedding and shedding old ways. And then the serpent being feminine, being the mother, and things like that. So serpent, first chakra. This is Munaki, the 9 rights of Munaki. This is a Peruvian Andean medicine wheel tradition. This is a mystical, metaphysical system that ones could be initiated to or tuned into in order to be able to purge themselves with that Leo 9, Lady of Flames and Fire, to burn out all the past traumas, burn out all the past, dilemmas in your life, to burn out all the attachments, all the past karmas and traumas and deeds, bad deeds that you have done in your life, to make you have a new body where you age different. You die, your dying process is different, your aging process is different. You don't get sick like most people get sick, or illnesses that you used to get, you won't get them anymore. Once you reach this luminous energy field, your luminous energy field will be so filled up with positive energy, from the earth keepers and the wisdom keepers and the healers and all the different 9 rights that you go through. So you have like a new DNA. You're just cleaning up that old DNA and you have new DNA. You're just shifting and changing your whole consciousness. You know what I mean? So the serpent is the first archetype that helped you get to this point. And it's not a coincidence that the ancient Kemet is dealing with the serpent, and the serpent is, and these 2 serpent goddesses are women, and it's a feminine energy, So it all just makes sense. All right, so serpent is the mother of the waters and has been the archetype of the healer throughout many cultures. It is the one who teaches us to shed our personal past the way she sheds her skin. Just like we shed our skin every 7 years without we even consciously knowing it. Every 7 years we shed our skin. We do it's the same way as the snake. All right? And the primary life force, the one who dives deep, who knows the way into the deepest places inside of ourselves, the one who walks with beauty on the belly of the mother, the one who knows the way back to the garden, the place of innocence. Serpent is the connection with the feminine. Serpent is the one who we call on to shed heavy energies, wounds, and emotions from others, and to fully engage with our core relationship to the earth. She helps us look at situations as a matter of fact, without getting caught in the emotions, to remain cool and calm. So you see, she helps you look at situations as a matter of fact without getting all caught up in your emotions. That's basically what Rajet and Nekabed and Aset and Ma'at is dealing with, burning out all of that, all the emotions, the attachments, everything that have you thinking on a low vibration is all burnt out. You're just dealing with the oneness. You know what I mean? You're dealing with the non-duality. You're not like flip-sided. You're just on that one track like that. Not saying that there's something wrong with duality, but in this particular spiritual fire, when the Lady of Flames and when the Lady of Fire and Flames come, and when you are dealing with that breathing technique for the serpent power rising, you have to be in a unitary consciousness. You have to be, it's unity, it's 2, uni meaning 2, because you have the 2 goddesses, one on one side, on the other side of your temple, on each side of your temples. However, when they get to this third eye, they come as one. You know what I mean? It's one. So that's that non-duality. You're not dual anymore, you're one. So those 2 become one. So that's what that's about. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this heart, right? Like I said before, the heart is an independent nervous system, and the heart sends signals to the brain and vice versa. The heart and the brain are always in communication. However, the heart sends more signals to the brain than it receives from the brain. So the heart is the one really doing the work. So the heart and the brain are in constant communication. The heart is doing most of the talking. The heart is an electrical organ, produces by far the strongest source of rhythmic bioelectricity, which goes to every cell in your body. This energy creates enough electrical energy from your heart to create a magnetic field of 360 degrees, extending beyond the skin. So this magnetic field is beyond your skin, is out into the universe. This is how far your electromagnetic field reaches, way out into the universe, into space, measuring almost 3 feet outside of your body. You and your heart connects with people, just like you can have a conversation with someone and y'all feeling each other from the heart. That's the same way your electromagnetic field is reaching out into the universe. The universe is feeling your heart. It's feeling your emotions. It's feeling everything you're feeling, and it's responding to it. So make sure your magnetic field is sending out a rhythm, a positive rhythm, a harmonic rhythm, so you can get that rhythm back into you. So another thing, this is another way how you can like be a lot more aware of how powerful this heart is. It's like a person could say one thing, but the feeling you get is saying something else. Like someone can say, "Oh, okay, I'll meet you there at 7 o'clock. I hope you do this," and you just feel in your heart like, "I know they're not going to do it," or you feel in your heart, "I know they will do it." You know what I mean? It's even though they said it, and you're standing in front of them, and you're making this agreement, you're making this plan. They said it, but for some reason you don't feel it in your heart that they mean it. You know what I mean? So that's a positive way to know that your heart is in tuned. You know what I mean? That your interaction with people, your interaction with the universe is well in tune. That you could already know that they're not going to be there, or they're not going to do something before they even not do it. That's the beautiful thing about that. So you're feeling, they're saying one thing, you're feeling another, which leaves the person with a disconnect or confusion. And there's like many more examples that I could elaborate on, where you have felt in your heart of hearts that the person was not telling you the truth, or they was telling you the truth, whatever the case is. So to increase more heart connection, for those who really don't pay attention to those little small things that I said that seem small, but they're not. But if you're not really tapping into it in that type of way, there's a coherence technique for the heart to connect more to your heart, and how to use this technique when you go into meetings or getting ready to make a phone call to someone, and you might want to curse them out, but you don't want to curse them out. You want to be able to speak to them in a different manner. So these techniques kind of like help you deal with those two issues, or even broader issues as well. So what you want to do is, if you're listening and paying attention, you can do this now, or you can just listen and follow along, and then rewind this back tomorrow sometime if you want to write it down step by step. So you can bring your attention and your awareness to your heart. So you want to think and focus solely on your heart. Just want to think about your heart. Feel it beating in your chest right now. Even place your hand on it and just listen to it. Just feel your heart. Okay, so bringing your attention and awareness to your heart, to the center of your chest. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your chest area. So not only are you imagining, but you're actually doing it. So you're going to breathe a little smoother and slower and deeper than you usually breathe. So slow your breath down. Make it a little slower, a little more deeper. Breathing deep and slow, nice and smooth than you usually would breathe. Allow your chest to rise, allow your chest to go down, or allow your stomach to, when you inhale, your stomach comes out, your exhale, your stomach goes in. Allow that flow to happen. Feel that happening. And as you continue on breathing, focus on a feeling of appreciation, care, gratitude of someone or something in your life. You know, focus on a time with something that made you happy, maybe when you went to your best friend's wedding, or when you had a surprise birthday party, or you graduated from school, and that was a nice moment. You felt so good. You felt so grand about yourself. Focus on those feelings. You know, maybe you could remember when you had a time in nature, maybe walking through the park or walking through the woods, or you was in the countryside in another country, and you was just listening to the birds and taking a walk, and everything was just serene. You know, and then you want to focus on how you felt. Like, really, how did I feel at that moment? Like, how beautiful you felt, and just bask in that feeling, thinking about how you felt. Okay, so you want to breathe the attitude of love and gratitude. As you are doing this, you are increasing your coherence level. Your nervous system is synchronizing, your hormones are being released, signals from your heart to your brain are moving through your emotional and higher brain sense, which opens the door for intuitive insights. So, yes, all this is going on, just doing these simple 4 or 5 steps for your heart coherence. All of this is going on. Hormones are being released, the levels of your nervous system is synchronizing, signals from your heart to your brain are moving through your emotional and higher brain sense, which opens the doors for intuitive insights. Next, you just experienced the quick coherence technique. And you can do this anytime, anywhere, with your eyes open or closed. I prefer closed because it helps you visualize the time you felt appreciated or gratitude, you know, the time you felt good. Sometimes when you have your eyes closed, now you're able to actually see that moment. You actually get a flashback into that time, step back into time. And, you know, the steps are easy. You have a heart focused breathing. Keep your breathing deep, smooth, and slower. In and out your nose. Allowing your chest to rise or your stomach to rise when you inhale, and it's going inflating as you're exhaling. Try and keep your breath between your stomach and your chest chamber. So you want your stomach and your chest both to rise so your lungs can get the full capacity of oxygen, which also helps the brain getting that right amount of oxygen. And you want to, you know, activate a positive, upflow, renewing feeling. As I was saying, think about something that made you feel good. Visualizing to remember. So that visualization helps you remember that beautiful moment. And with the eyes closed, that takes you there. Closing the eyes helps take you there to visualize that positive, uplifting, renewing feeling, you know? So why coherence technique? Because it's useful to restore balance and it flows good energy. It's useful to do before meetings, before you go to work. If you know you're going to have a stressful day, or you work at a stressful workplace and around stressful people, before going to court, before important communications through phone calls, emails, or when needing to speak to somebody about a problem. This prevents a lot of stress and problems you will have to clean up later. So doing this heart coherence technique, it pretty much it prepares you to have a better conversation when you do make that phone call. It prepares you to send a better email when you do decide to send an email when it's something important that you need to say to somebody. It prepares you so you don't be so nervous and stressed out when you go to court. You'll be more confident, and for sure, when you can predict, like, this is what I want to happen, and you can manifest which how you want it to play out. Very good before you go into a meeting, because you want to make sure you're saying the right things and listening at the same time as talking. You know, it's just doing this heart exercise. It just works wonders if you just use it. Use it in trying times, use it in easy times. And just see how it just works well all the time. Yeah, so your heart coherence, it creates a better you and a healthy body. So just bask in the feeling of heart health. You want to keep your heart healthy. So that's another reason why you would want to do heart coherence techniques, because you want to keep your heart healthy. We're under some trying times right now, and a lot of the country is under stress. We're feeling the effects of the stress, so we want to keep our heart healthy. You don't want to get too overworked, and you're not even 40 years old yet, or 30 yet, you have heart problems. You don't want that. So there's some YouTube resources that you can go to if you want to listen to some heart activating healing music, the 528 hertz that deals with love, the heart frequency. It's also called the miracle tone, 528 hertz. It heals the DNA, activates the fourth plane, or the fourth soul of Ra, or the fourth chakra. It also helps with sleeping and meditation, like those little heart coherence techniques. That's like a short meditation, and you can, if you have your phone with you at the time, you can go to the YouTube or any other sources that that has healing music, and you put in at 528 hertz, and you can do the breathing heart coherence technique while you're listening to the hertz. They're also good for transformation and activates the third eye. Also, of course, it enhances your love feeling, happiness, your inner peace. Never forget that 528 hertz is a love frequency, and the earth vibrates on a 528 hertz frequency. The universe, the earth, that's the number that it vibrates off of. So if your heart is on a 528 hertz frequency, then that means you're definitely in sync with the earth and the universe's vibration, because that too is also a 528 hertz frequency. So if everything is in synchronization, your mind, body, and soul, more importantly, the heart, is in synchronization. The universe is already in synchronization with 528, and you're on it, then your luminous energy field will shine even brighter. And when you go into those meetings, when you make those phone calls, or send those important emails, you'll be saying the right things. So let me see. Okay, so yeah, the YouTube channels that you can go to find 528 hertz from a Kemetic point of view, from a Chinese point of view, from Native American point of view, you can find 528 hertz pretty much through all cultures. And there's one called Infinite Waters. That's a channel called Infinite Waters. So you just go to YouTube, go to Infinite Waters channel, and then you put in 528 hertz. Then there's the next channel called Magnetic Minds, Meditative Minds, and another one called New Earth by Chinmaya Dunster. This one is basically more for if you want to hear like full moon healing music, or new moon, waxing moon, and waning moon healing music. You will go to Chinmaya Dunster. He may have his album is called New Earth, and then the musician is called Chinmaya Dunster. He may have some 528 hertz frequencies. I haven't seen any, but he might. He's particularly dealing with that full moon healing music, and the new moon, and the waxing moon, and the waning moon. So like how today's on full moon, tomorrow will be in the full moon, the next day will be like 98% full moon. He has some full moon healing music that you might like. It's just all instrumental. And let me see. Yeah, so Benjamin, I don't know. You might have something you want to say. He looks like he walked away and left me here talking.
Look, you see how you be doing me? I don't do you like
You're
that.
having lunch again. You're having lunch again.
I
I
don't do you
know.
like that.
Eating lunch, right?
I'm sitting right here soaking up all of this divine wisdom that you bring every time you come through here, and you be like, "You ain't paying me no mind."
Yeah, you just ran back to your seat.
I've been right here the whole time. I put my children to bed, and then I'm right here, back and forth. I'm looking at the universality of the systems.
Mm-hmm.
Indiscriminate. They might have different placements, like you was breaking down, but I was listening for the universality and the overall functionality and
Right.
indiscriminate to location,
Mm-hmm.
how they coincide. You see what I'm saying? So you
Exactly.
you you, you took a Pan African and a Pan American approach. I don't even know if you ever heard of a Pan American approach. That's the only thing I could call it. Kind of listening to it. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look
Yeah.
at the unified systems between North and South America, you
Mm-hmm.
know, even though it's all native, it's different in different locations,
Native
but it's
cultures.
the
Yeah.
same system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Kemet was a Pan African society. You see what I'm saying? So all of the
Exactly.
systems
All
on the
across the
continent,
board.
right, have a through line. You see what I'm saying? So even putting in the East Indian system, you see what I'm
Yes.
saying? Still a through line there. So you're looking at a pan global type of society when you're looking at initiatory rights and systems and functionality of proposed deity in each system. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Especially dealing with the serpent. We've
Right.
known the serpent to be evil, but in other cultures, that's far from evil to them, you know?
Right. I mean, because they had to introduce a new initiatory right system, nation and control. And none of the
Yeah.
other systems use that. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at our uh, betrayal on the mother goddess, the divine feminine, us leaving the mother goddess, you see what I'm saying? The mother goddess factor, and going into the patriarchal type of system, you see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? This is what you find where
And
they
that's
was
what happened.
have the serpent being the most subtle beast of the field. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, and the divine feminine is no longer honored and protected, left to
Right.
a prey. So, attacking the dragon. You see what I'm saying? Is this patriarchal Euromancy type of situation that has been imprinted upon the psyche, that they're thinking that they're doing a good thing in this approach, and they're doing the worst thing that they could possibly do. The world is feeling the effects of the abandonment and the neglect of the great mothers. You see what I'm saying? So, this is a chance, like you were saying, to shed that skin, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, whatever it is, with that old way of thinking, that way that had us in great peril, to come
Right.
into back into in tune with the true Godhead. You see what I'm saying? So I'm paying attention and I'm listening and I'm placing these
And you
things in the way that how I'm receiving it.
analyzing it. Yeah, exactly. Because even with the Native Americans dealing with the medicine world, the native, now see, when I was talking about the serpent, that was like an Andean, South American, Peruvian approach. But now we hear in the
Mm-hmm.
North American, Native American approach, they around this particular time, just talking about the full moon. I'm just going not off subject, but just talk about the full moon. At this particular time of year, it will be the elemental clan of the butterfly. So to
Right.
us, we're dealing with Sagittarius, but to them, this is
Mm-hmm.
the butterfly. You know what I mean? Which is the
Still
element of
transformative.
right, and
Right.
it's still exactly. It's still relative. And the Sagittarius element is fire, and the butterfly element would be air.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which are on the same, air and fire are on the same elemental side. Like earth and water is on the same elemental side. But it's still,
Right.
it's not air, but it's fire. Or it's not fire, but it's air, but it's still on the same elemental side. And this is what they say
The
about
science of the holy breath. Right. The science of the
exactly.
holy breath. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is what they say about the butterfly. It says the butterfly begins life as a crawler and then through a transformation process learns to fly, carrying in its wings the colors of the rainbow tribes who choose the butterfly as a totem for elemental air did not so only because of its great transforming powers, but because it characterized elemental air through its constant moving and perpetual activity, always shifting its position from one place to another. The element of air is the great transformer. And you see, when I was reading about Sagittarius earlier, it was saying transformation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, it's
Right.
the wait, I think I lost my spot. Okay, the element of air is the great transformer. It's breath changing the atmosphere wherever it goes. The butterfly too transforms with its beauty wherever it touches. Butterfly people are usually great transformers and manipulators. Butterfly clan people are those born between the 21st of May and the 20th of June, 22nd of September and the 22nd of October, and the 20th of January through the 18th of February. They are similarly active, enjoying the variety of new places, new ideas, new things to do, new things to do, and new ways of doing them. Quick and lively, they are always busy, never wanting to stay still for long. Butterfly clan people have an affinity with air, so will be invigorated by being out in the open and away from confinement of any kind. Then we shift over and we talk about, I was just talking about the chakra system. So in the North American medicine will approach, when they talk about the heart chakra to them is the sixth power system, just like in Kemet. Well, in Kemet, the heart is the fourth chakra, but the sixth soul of Ra, or the sixth plane of Ra, that unitary consciousness that I was talking about, when you reach that unitary consciousness, that's when the Lady of Flames and Fire come and burn out all those old ways and give you that spiritual fire. That's six. That's the sixth chakra. So now the heart is the sixth center in the North American, Native American, medicine will approach. So the heart chakra, the sixth power center, is in the central chest area and is generally known as the heart chakra. It is the desire center and it is related to love. You see, it's all everywhere saying it's related to love. Love, related to love, devotion, and compassionate action. It is linked with the heart, the blood, and circulation, and with the thymus gland. See, this is getting even deeper because now certain glands are connected to this. The heart chakra is the distribution center for the magnetic energies of life. And I was just talking about how the heart is 5,000 times stronger. It produces electrifying energy 5,000 times stronger than any organ in the body. So here they're talking about is a distribution center for the magnetic energies of life. Just as the heart is the physical distribution center for the blood of life, its functional significance is love and emotional energy. It responds primarily to the color green. And Wajet was talking about being green and being flourishing, being green like our star. You see it? And the heart chakra has a frequency multiple of 12. So
if you was talking about the Nile Valley culture in regards to the pieces of Asar, every place where one of the pieces was buried, there was an acacia tree that
oh
grew up out of
wow.
the place. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes. I
it
didn't know
has
that.
some significances in other places. You see what I'm saying? In regards to initiatory systems, you see but that sprig of acacia represents resurrection. So if we look
Exactly.
at Heru, Heru being that manifestation of his father. You see what I'm saying? So you got
Yes.
Pertim Heru, like people who follow after Heru. You see what I'm saying? So in that obedience lane, being one who follows that his after his father. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
in that
Yes.
example, in regards to divine inspiration, you was talking about Wajet and Nekabet and Offset. There's a narrative that shows uh, Heru and his uncle Heru War, like an older version of him, who taught him
Yes.
in order for him to do battle against his uncle, Set or Sutesh. There was a level that war could teach him, but after that, he was sent to his mother's and to uh, Wajet to culminate another place, some old hekar that war can teach him. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's levels of initiatory right where that divine masculine can get you, but above that, there's other, things that are taught to you from your,
Hmm.
divine feminine side that elevates you in a way that you couldn't even fathom. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it was necessary for him to be able to learn how to master things on this foundational level first, and then after he mastered them, then he could go back to his mother. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So it's and this is what we had to do. So we looking at that, and you related it all to the shedding of the skin. If a snake does not shed their skin, they die. You see what I'm saying? So it's like aspects in regards to if you're holding on to something and you allow these things to hold you into a certain place, you won't make that shift. You were talking about it dimensionally a couple of broadcasts ago. You see what I'm saying? Being
Oh
able to
yeah.
make that shift, then everybody wasn't going to be able to make that shift. You see what I'm saying? You were talking about
Yes.
dimensionally. You see what I'm saying? So that's
Are you talking
another
about when
awareness
I was
that
talking
comes.
about that?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. A
I
couple of
thought you had a conversation with some other programs you
no,
had.
no, no, no. No,
Okay, because
you
I was
you
like,
got this. This your
I was
lane right here.
I was
Okay.
saying, oh yeah, like wow, that's in sync. We all saying it's two people saying the same thing. Yeah,
Well,
you was
different
talking
people
about
have
the
it
third.
all different ways, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
third
You talking
dimension.
about
Yeah.
3D
So
and
it's like
5D. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right,
Mhm.
right. So you were giving us this, and these things weave through because we have a bad habit of sectionalizing things. It's like, well, this can't relate to this. Like, no, it's all intertwined. You're just getting it in
Right.
stages. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah. So looking back to that, unable to shed that skin, unable to make that shift. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? In thought, that ascension and consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So you're putting those things together, and this is how it becomes unified. It's not singular. It's
Right.
unified. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah, I
Exactly.
love that.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
just had to let you know I wasn't sleeping over here. I wasn't paying attention to what's going on. I'm checking it out. I'm paying attention. And
Yes.
I'm just relating it in a way to put it together. You see?
Right.
So
Right. How it can make sense to you, because it's
yeah.
also how you perceive it. And so I can, you receive it and then you have to put it in its perspective to make it make sense. Because that's what
Right.
it's all about, just making it make sense. Once you make it make sense, it's like, okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah, and the whole heart vibration, how important the heart is, and
Right.
you know, the electromagnetic field of our heart just extends out into the universe. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It's just beautiful. So beautiful.
It's the universality of family and functionality in family. Everybody don't do the same thing in the family.
Yeah.
Like every organ doesn't do the same thing in the body. We're thankful for the family members, the members like your limbs. Same way like that. In that Osirian narrative, it's called remembering Osir, like putting those limbs back together. So Just like
Exactly.
we do these in segments, we're putting these things back together and we're remembering, not just in the mind, but the body physically putting these, limbs back together, like that old Humpty
Exactly.
Dumpty narrative.
Right.
All the king's horses and all the king's men,
And put them back
but it's
together
the same
again.
thing. Right. So it's the
He was
same
so
thing.
broken.
Right. And we find ourselves in a similar situation. We need it in offset and the neb head to put us back together again. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
exactly.
a man can't do it. A man might be able to stop the bleeding from an extremity, but he can't do it. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this is the role of the burden of bearer. You see what I'm saying? Who knows what that pain feels like and can feel it because
Exactly.
birthing into existence. So this is how that divine healer, that wonderful counselor that the scripture speaks about, they turned it into a man. It's a woman. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like only a woman
Exactly.
can know that you're ailing. Like something off with you.
Mhm.
What's going on? No.
Yeah,
Come
that
in.
intuitive.
You see?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
We
intuitive
don't
knowing
we
is
don't got
you
it.
just know.
Yeah, we don't got it. It's a different kind of burden, but it's a burden nonetheless. Everybody carries their burden. We might be physically able to lift stuff and put things in where they're supposed to go, and might be able to construct things after. But you are constructed and shaped and formed in the womb. You see what I'm saying? And then you
First.
will manifest out into the
Yes.
world, right?
Then
So
you
on
came
the
into
other
light.
side, right, you can be
You was in
useful.
darkness first, and that was in the
Right,
womb.
right. So that's all
Hmm.
together in regards to how these things come. So, like even coming out of the womb, just like you were saying with the butterfly, every every caterpillar doesn't turn into a butterfly, but they all have the
That's
potential
true.
to. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
It depends
They
how he
go into
wraps the
that cocoon
chrysalis. If
phase,
that
right?
chrysalis is not wrapped properly, and then
Right,
some air gets in it, that whole
right.
metamorphosis is gonna go.
So,
That
so it's there.
metamorphosis process won't happen.
Right. So it's to life. you know.
Mhm.
So it's life come manifesting into the physical world, that transformation. So, you were
True.
talking about how that relates to,
Mhm.
certain signs. And, that's a sign there from nature. So if we're talking about astrological or, uh, astronomy, whatever the case may be, they're all linked in a particular family and have functionality, So back to
Yeah.
all of that process, like that butterfly family, they start in the cocoon, but before that, belonging to the earth. You see what I'm saying? So all of these transformations have to happen. These shifts have to be in divine order in order for the transformation to take place. Like you could be talking to somebody and you giving them knowledge for years and years, but until they ready to receive it, you see what I'm saying? That
It's on
transformation and
deaf
shift will
ears.
take place, and
Hmm.
you might not even witness it
Hmm.
happen. They could talk to me for a second. You be like, "Y'all been talking to this dude for years or this sister for years." They talked to you for 2 seconds and now they got it. That was the appointed time for them to get it. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
That was
true.
the appointed time for them to get it. So this is why these things come into play. But they wouldn't have got it if you didn't plant those seeds, if you didn't proceed with the
True.
exposure process, and germinate and give proper and adequate sunlight, and moisture to the situation to where, boom, they like they might even say to me like, yo, sister was telling me this for years and I ain't get it until now. You know what I mean? Well, you ain't get that conversation. So, we know our job is just to plant the seeds.
True.
You know?
That's true. So how do you feel about George Floyd? I know this is way off the topic, but
So it's all in there. It's all in that process, that you're talking about. Uh, being prepared to make the shift.
hmm
How many signs do we have to see from nature, and how much evidence do you have in order to put yourself, from this perspective, in a position to win, in a position to elevate, in a position to grow? How many people have to transition from your physical sight for you to make a decision to live?
yeah,
We haven't been in this part of the world and functioning around as black people in a position to live. You see what I'm saying? Like there's slogans and signs right in front of your face telling you Black Lives Matter. And you don't know what Black life is because you haven't lived one yet. You see what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
haven't
Well, you
you
don't
haven't
care about
loved
it.
yet. Well, you haven't loved yet. You ain't never been in a position to love. You've only been hated. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? You only been sought after, only been abused, only been misused. So in your mind, this is how you show love. You see what I'm saying? Hurt people hurt people. So you see the most abusive and toxic type of relationships spilled out and called love because you're dealing with an entity who does not know how to love.
And
They
that's what
do
I
that
always say.
incapable
You're trying to
of
make them
feeling.
love and they don't love.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
Asking
Yeah.
for help
They
from them,
love what they
waste of
own.
time. Yeah,
They
exactly.
love what they own. If they don't, because that's the only thing. Because through that they
Yeah,
can emanate. You see what I'm saying?
they
They're
pass
not
it on.
alive. They're not alive. They got a parasite host relationship on the planet. You see what I'm saying? So they're
Exactly.
only there seeking whom they should devour, like the scripture said. You see what I'm saying? Crawling around on their
Exactly.
belly. They're, so that's why they always asking you how you feel. They be like, well, how do you feel about everything that's going on? Because through you,
That's when they can feel it.
they,
Yeah. They
my
have to
camera,
ask you, get
like, yeah,
permission from you to know how to feel, it seems like. They can't automatically know how a person would feel.
the only
After you
thing
know it's
that
wrong,
they
but to ask how
process
you feel, you know how we feel.
is just, no, they don't know how you feel. The only thing that they
I'm
can
just
process
saying like that
is
you
your
would think that
destruction.
they would
Right?
know. You know what I mean?
As
Mm.
soon as you get angry, they know that. They know
Oh yeah.
that. You see
Oh
what I'm saying?
yeah. When you
They
start burning
that
the city down, they
yeah,
oh they did this, they did. Yeah.
it's like yes, yeah, because this is the season that they were made in. They were made in that season, and it took the taking of life in order for them to
Yeah.
come into being.
Yeah.
So death and devastation is what they were birthed out of. So with
Right.
that, you don't feel anything. They don't even like, when they say they get upset, they don't even get upset. They just
I
act
know.
normal. That's their normal behavior. There's nothing with it. There's nothing to it to them. They don't even think nothing about it. It's
Mm.
natural instinctive behavior. So when you're around that and subjugated by that so much, you become desensitized to your own destruction. You could have a bleeding heart for everybody else on the planet because something still exists in you. You still feel. But for yourself, you got nothing because you don't see yourself as anything. So we haven't even started to live. Our ancestors did what they did in order for us to still be here. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? Or for life to continue. But it wasn't life that was brought into existence in love. It was out of necessity.
Yeah.
If you had 15 children, you'd be lucky if you had three by the time they were grown. You see what I'm saying? My
Right.
grandmother had 15 children. You know how many's left alive? Three. Not including my mother in the physical sense. You understand what I'm saying? So out of 15 children, three are left alive. You see what I'm saying? So out of necessity, my grandmother and my grandfather may have loved each other in whatever sense that is, but they didn't live. So they fought so hard for the children to be here, for somebody to have a life. Somebody to figure this out, somebody to heal all of the traumatical ancestral generation that was devoid of love. You see what I'm saying? So now you got the later ambassadors of the bloodline with this outcry that you see in the streets of looking for, justice, looking for acceptance, looking for love. You see what I'm saying? And they will kill and die for it. You see what I'm saying? Because this is what the earth is screaming out for renewal. You see, because we
Mm-hmm.
lost that. The great mothers is like, yo, y'all done fucked all this up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we got to do some fixing, do some cleaning up. We got to clean up our backyard. You see what I'm saying? So we didn't get
Exactly.
it to make that shift, you know, just from signs from nature. We were on the way and we're still on the way. Now stuff got to get ramped up. So this is the segment you're talking about. Because after segment in that tradition, you're on death's doorstep. You're where Sakari is. It's very cold. Ain't no feelings involved. You see what I'm saying? Devoid of feelings. So this is that
Yeah.
discipline that's seeing right now. So
When the
the
Lady of
purification,
Flames and Fire, yeah, when the
right,
Lady of Flames and Fire is on the scene, there is no mercy. She's just coming to
right,
with moving
right,
out the way, remove,
right,
restore, rebuild, replenish. She moving it out the way, burning all ways out, everything. You're gonna shed it whether you want to shed it or not, because she's coming with that
right,
purifying fire, that ancient purifying fire. That Leo 9 power, that lioness energy.
right.
Where she's just devouring. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Just coming through
She's
like
out for
this.
blood. She is out for blood. Like
Mm-hmm.
in traditions, offering to her, one of the offerings to that fort is blood.
Yeah.
But that's out of love. She was, Heteru first. This is
Mm-hmm.
the negative sign of Heteru. So Heteru is, life, fertility, dance, beauty, everything, And as
Yeah.
the story was told, is Ra had replaced her with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So out of anger,
Anger. Yeah.
she turned into Sekhmet. You see what I'm saying? So out of not being loved, this is what birthed this out. Or out
Yeah.
of being ignored,
Exactly.
you see what I'm saying? Or being disrespected. All of these things. These are natural inclinations. You see what I'm saying? So and it's the same thing with dealing with a matter, like a problem in your life.
Mm-hmm.
They start off small. Problems are always small.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Then it
grow.
grows into a big issue.
And then you get to a crossroads first. You get to the crossroads first. Like, what are you going to do about this problem? You got a choice. You can do this or you can do that. You ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to get drugged through this problem and process. You see what I'm saying? You have to get drugged. Everything you thought was the solution to your problem is moved. This, boom, boom, boom. You go through this
Mm-hmm.
process because you're going to arrive at what this is supposed to be, and you never want to go through that again. You see what I'm saying? So you get
Right.
drugged all the way through, and your limbs get torn, all that, and you know you just you done for. You right there.
Yeah.
You feel like you want to die, but you made it through that process. It's the same problem that you had, magnified, personified. You see what I'm saying? Coupled, multiplied, because you didn't deal with it when it was small. It was simple.
Exactly.
One thing you could have just done. Now you
So
got to
you.
add some other stuff. It's compound interest that comes along. You see what I'm saying? All to get your attention for you to do what you got to do. You done made it 1,000 times harder than what it had to be. So
Right.
that's the process. And when we look at these situations that's going on, for us to ascend, now you got to go through some shit you wouldn't have had to went to had you just done these
Right.
things. You see that?
Exactly.
And I
As
heard
you just
and you were talking about the
say the piece from
meditation
the beginning. Mm-hmm.
with that dragon breath and that fire, that hot, that
Yes.
all of it in that process because you have
Yes.
to clear that
Yes.
path and that way in order to do what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do.
And the breath builds up that heat.
Right,
The
right,
deeper and smoother, and the more you breathe, the hotter the
right,
breath gets. And as it's
right,
traveling up vertical, it gets even more hotter as it's moving, and then it just purify it.
right, right,
Even with the heart coherence technique, it's the same thing. That breath is there for you to burn out whatever fear you had, whatever anxiety you had, whatever trauma you had, whatever the situation is, and whatever that emotion was that situation is going to put you in. That if you did that breathing technique, you won't feel that way anymore. You may have fear and anxiety before you go into that meeting, but if you did the heart coherence technique, you wouldn't even have the fear and anxiety anymore. You're just going there cool, calm, and collective, and it just
right,
is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You do
right,
that heart coherence technique, which is involved with breathing. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's involved with breathing, you're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? The heart and breathing, you gotta win. So you're gonna send that good email. You're gonna make that proper phone call. You know, sometimes it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because you're so anxious to say, I'm going to tell them how I feel. I'm getting this off of my chest. But if you just take that time out to say, you know what, this time I'm going to try it this way, and then you'll see, like, I was still mad, but I was able to say more than I would have said if I wasn't mad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we can use that heart coherence technique and that breath of fire technique, you know, for our advantage. You know what I'm saying? That circle power rising breathing. We can use that for an advantage, not a disadvantage. It'll be for our advantage. And then it's also shedding us. You know what I'm saying? We're also going through that integral shedding,
Right.
you know, preserving, self-cleansing. Yeah, so I don't want to be talking all night. I know you probably got a show afterwards, right?
Yeah, I do.
You okay? I figured that. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
guess
it's all good.
hmm
I said,
yeah, with
nah,
this,
it's all good though.
yeah, this serpent is the truth, really. It really is the truth. And it's a way you could call on the serpent. According to the Munaki Nine Rights tradition, it's a certain way you call on the serpent to help you. So you say, Serpent, I ask you for your guidance and sharing of your wisdom and gifts. Assist me in my life in all situations. Serpent heals my physical body and help me move through the medicine wheel in the south, because the serpent's direction is south. So it's even a direction involved in it. You know what I mean? Each archetype have a direction. Each archetype have a specific job that it does, and you can incorporate it in your life. You know,
Right.
bring it, call on it. These archetypes when you're going through certain trying times. You know, it's just great. It's great. So probably next time I could talk about the Moon Key Nine Rights. You know, get a little bit more into the different archetypes like the serpent, the jaguar, the hummingbird, the condor or the eagle, the keeper of the lower world, the keeper of the middle world, protector of the upper world. And the ancient Kemet talks about the underworld. You know what I'm saying? Like we think,
Right.
because we're thinking under hell, we're thinking something bad,
Right.
but the underworld is really not a bad place, because to be honest with you, when a person goes through a soul retrieval that I was talking about before, when you go through a soul retrieval, the shaman, the one that's going back to retrieve your missing parts, they're going into the roots, under the trees,
Right.
into the earth. They're going into the underworld to find your missing parts. Because a lot of times that's where a fragmented soul will go and hide, because it's peace and serene there. Certain parts of the underworld is peaceful and serene. So like when Asar resurrected, he resurrected into the underworld. You know what I'm saying? Not that he went to hell, but he went to a serene reality. That's a world within this world, because the earth is big, but it's bigger than what we really think it is. It's like worlds within this
Hold the
world.
sound.
Hmm. What you say? What happened?
Was that my headphones? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I heard you
Yeah,
all
it's
along.
just yeah, transferred out of my headphones into the speaker over here, but it say I'm still connected.
Yeah, I can hear you. We connected.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, you want to close out?
Yeah, it's already 11 o'clock. We did start a little late. Yeah, but that's all. That's what I was just
Yeah.
saying. Um, Wrapping up on a different art. I can talk about different archetypes next time and break down their attributes and you know, focusing on their energy and how to speak to them. Yeah, talk about the different rights and some of the benefits that you will receive from the 9 Munaki rights. Yeah.
Yeah, this month is busy, right? It's like three different things happening in this month.
Well, I know this is Juneteenth month, right? Then it's supposed to be Father's Day coming up soon, and then we also have the summer solstice on the 21st of June.
Okay.
But the summer solstice is going to be it's in a new moon, which is another powerful moment because not
Right.
only is it the summer solstice, but it's also in the new moon. New moon in Cancer.
And that's Father's Day too. That's crazy.
The 21st of June.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I didn't know. I thought that was like next week sometime.
Yeah. I guess it's the third Sunday of the month.
Because normally Father's Day is like the beginning of June. I guess the way the calendar worked this year, it went down to the third week.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't arguing with it. I only get 2 holidays a year and they in the same month. You know, my solar return and Father's Day.
Right,
the rest of the year, shit, you don't count for nothing.
You funny. You know. So Father's Day, you're on air for Father's Day, or you're taking that day off?
I'm on. I was on for my solar return too. You know, on the second, I was on like 5 or 6 times that day.
Wow, yeah. Happy belated solar return. So you actually had a show for your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so you know, if you want to come back through, you normally on the dates with the calendar and you know what's what. So
it would be June 21st because that's the new moon.
Okay, you got it.
You have anything scheduled at that time?
You?
Okay. So since you say you just had a birthday, a solar return, let me see what you would be according to the medicine wheel. Let's see what your archetype would be. Oh, it's the butterfly. I just read it. Yeah, you're the butterfly. Okay, the air. And Gemini is air. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So did the butterfly sound like you?
Sound like me.
It did when I was reading it?
Yeah. All over the place.
Yeah, I know you sure was because you put up last month's show, so you was all over the place.
I was doing the show and trying to make sure I knocked out what you had going on for today. You know, finding everything and making everything look like something, boom, 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 boom. And I put the right title in the description, but I didn't change it on the flyer. I put the right description
I know,
on the YouTube.
on the old flyer.
I didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because when I tried to share
the background.
Mm-hmm.
I changed the background to reflect the moon, to reflect the full moon, you know, instead of just adding that moon in there, you know, to reflect the full moon and, you know, the illumination with the cover of darkness. You see what I'm saying? To, you know, the picture on the moon. So that changed everything because, you know, at first you had the Mami water element going on. You see what I'm saying? As far as the water was
How you know
concerned,
about Mami water?
Nothing. I don't know nothing about nothing. You understand?
How
so
you know to say Mami water? Where you get Mami water from? How you know about that?
From Google. Google can help you out. They let you know everything that's going on. So,
and how you know about Ogun? Huh?
I don't know nothing about any of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just here in functionality. You know, so it's just should let you know what kind of people come through. You know, the platform. So I'm saying, so it's just, taking these things on in that regard. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess you're familiar with Shango and Obatala or Rumila.
I don't know, man. It's the, I
You
leave it
you
to
don't
the
know Shango?
professionals. You get some
You don't know Shango?
professional. I don't know. I think Jay-Z said his name in one of them songs recently. Everybody was going crazy. Jay-Z said Shango. Like,
Duh. Everybody is starting to tap into the real spiritual system. So you will be surprised if he says more than Shango. He might say Yamaya or Yamanja or Yamonja.
I think
He might start saying
it's funny.
Oshun. Beyonce is
I
supposed to
think
be Oshun.
yeah, yeah. I think they did all that little stuff together. They was in
Mhm.
Cuba for a little while.
And then her
So
mom is from the French quarters of New Orleans. I think her mom got some
yeah,
French. So that whole New Orleans vibes, and I'm not even surprised that they know about the EFA system because that's what New Orleans is dealing with straight up.
yeah. And
New
they was
Orleans,
down in Cuba, that's Santeria, and
exactly.
on the other side. So it's all together, all
That's probably
together.
when they went to Cuba. They could have got some initiations going on.
Of course, of course. Jay-Z had that. If you remember that unplugged, he had that Che Guevara, shirt on. So you never know. People be watching, and they got different bank accounts than you and I. So different access. They don't have to tell
Right.
everything to everybody.
Exactly.
But
You just listen to his music and he'll say it.
yeah. But when it's time, they show themselves. So
So in his recent music, he's talking about Shango.
yeah.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
He was on J Electronica's album. You had to listen to the song. He gives a little reference.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, so thanks for having me and for your time and your attention.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You
Yeah.
be thinking I ain't paying attention. You
Yeah,
be
I'm just
thinking I be
messing with you. I know you somewhere
butterflying
about.
around over
Yeah,
here.
right.
Butterfly,
I know you
the
somewhere
butterfly.
about.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be my thing.
exactly.
Come on, I'm gonna be doing that.
Hmm.
That butterfly.
Exactly. Yeah, you should do that as a part of your little logo. Put it up in the right hand corner or in the left hand corner, a little butterfly. You know what I'm saying? For the month
They're
of
gonna be,
June, represents your
yeah,
solar return symbol.
they're gonna be talking about. I knew he was with the Illuminati. You see that? He
Right, he's
got
from
one of the
the elemental
butterflies.
clan of butterfly. For real. Oh well, they gonna think whatever they want to think.
Yeah, that's gonna be
It's,
funny.
he said it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for opening up your platform and not July, June 21st, new moon time, moon key, 9 rights, and
Yeah.
I'll have something else dealing with the heart, some more heart math going on. I think it'll be
Okay.
more like heart and the emotions, like get more deeper into how the heart functions with the emotions, like how the heart gets these emotions processing and going. Yeah.
Are we going for the same time? You want 9 or you want 8? What time you want?
Yeah, 9 is good. I think 9 is good. So the 21st is on a Friday again, or is it a Sunday? I think it's
Sunday.
okay. I thought so. Okay. Yeah, Sunday's a good day. So how the viewership look right now? Looks okay.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
So your show that's coming on next, that's what's that show about? What is that about?
My late night show, we're gonna be talking about Breonna Taylor today. It's
Oh,
her
okay.
sole return today, so
Mm-hmm.
and you know it's not a lot of public outrage and up in arms uh, for
For her.
for her, yeah. So again, you know, we can't
That's
keep making
because
the same mistakes. We can't keep making the same mistakes as we've done in the past with the divine feminine with the great mothers. You
right.
know, this should
That's
be
because
a time.
she's wasn't recorded. George was recorded, so it's like you just can't help but to react. You know, we hear about the other ones, and it's we feel it just like we feel it for George. But when you see it, that does a lot to the mental. You get what I'm trying to say?
We
That does a
saw it with
lot,
Sandra Bland. There was
huh?
no outrage. We saw it with Sandra Bland. There was no outrage.
Yeah, I know. I know. That
They
should have been
they
outrage too.
they said the same thing with Corinne Gaines. There was no outrage. You know, when it happens with one of our sisters, it's not the same energy. You know,
I know.
no
And
matter
that's
how many
sad.
times there
And
were
it's sad.
brothers saying, you know, there was brothers saying that she should have been compliant. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking
That's her
about? You
house.
understand?
Compliant to
Like,
what? They're in her
right,
home. They should have been
right,
compliant. They should have knew that they were going
right.
into the wrong home. What do you
They
mean?
didn't.
And wasn't she
They knew
sleeping?
exactly where they were going.
Exactly.
Beyond, yeah, she was. Yeah,
Wasn't
they
she
already
sleeping?
had the people.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the people in custody. You know, a man got up and did what he was supposed to do to try to protect her. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like that's a miracle. You understand what I'm saying? That's a
Yeah.
miracle.
Because I was
So
told
that's
that
that's
one.
Fred
Right.
Hampton. Like Fred Hampton, he was asleep because he was drugged. You know, they drugged him because he would have got up to fight, and shoot back for his pregnant wife in
Yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? So they
Right.
made sure that he was drugged. And they gave him the dimensions of the department where they were staying, so they knew where to shoot, how to shoot, all of that. You see what I'm saying? Under the color of darkness and light. In that aspect. So with this situation, her boyfriend got up and he shot one of the cops. They put him in jail for it,
Oh,
even though they ran up in the house.
exactly.
That
Exactly.
situation after
So
they
there's
had the people in custody. So it just goes to show there's no such thing. You know, even with
nothing
the brother, he was in
compliance.
handcuffs. 3 people on him, he was in handcuffs. But with the sister, there's nobody being charged, nobody brought to justice. None of that type of situation. So there's a lot of things that's going on. So this energy, it
Yeah, because
feels like that. It don't
I'm
feel
not
like
really
him. It
hearing.
feel like them.
I'm not really hearing any celebrities saying, "Okay, I rented my private jet to her family to go fly to her
Right.
funeral," like Jay-Z gave his jet to George Floyd's family so they can travel, back and
Yeah.
forth. What's his name? Floyd Mayweather.
Right. Offer
He
to pay
paid
for
for
the
the
funeral.
he paid for the funeral. You get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I know what you mean. Like, are they doing this for Brianna? You know what I'm saying? Are they paying for her funeral? Then they
There's
say
all
Kanye
energy in
West.
that name. Yeah, it's energy in the name that they're using. There's energy in that particular name of Floyd. You see what I'm saying? So like
Yes.
all of it should be a universal type of situation with that. So
And then even Kanye West was supposed to have gave like $1.2 million to um, George Floyd's daughter for her college fund and Ahmad's children for his college fund, for their college funds.
yeah, I think it was all three. I think Rihanna's family also. I think I don't. You
Oh,
never
he
know.
added her in there? Okay, okay. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to figure out, did any celebrities include her? You know. And if not, then we probably need to I'll do diligence and reach out to them and ask them why you're not doing it.
Right.
Did you get Jay-Z on this platform? Did you get
I, I could try.
Floyd Mayweather on this platform? Because I don't have a problem addressing it to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Me
Did you get Ludacris
either.
up here? And all the ones that's talking out and reaching out on the George vibes, which is good. I'm glad they're doing it, But yeah, what about the matriarch? What about her?
Right.
So you let me know if you can do it.
Yeah, I'll put it out there.
That'd be a nice conversation for real. Because they're probably not even thinking like that. You get what I'm trying to say? So somebody might need to turn their light bulbs on. And they might not be like intentionally not doing it. It's just that the light bulb ain't on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if it could be brought to their attention, at least they can't say they didn't know, nobody said nothing, so I didn't think it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? They can't go there.
Right.
Because through the knowledge radio, said it.
Right.
What happened to Sandra Bland's parents? It's not too late for y'all to hit up with a donation. It's not too late to, you know what I'm saying? It's just not too late. When it comes to us sisters, we need to be more recognized and stick together. So if you can get a platform concerning that, I will definitely be there to ask the questions on their behalf. They can't speak for themselves, but I can be their speaker.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you just let me know.
That's real.
You just let me know. They're regular people, so they're not hard to find. Trust me. They're not hard to find.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
know somebody that knows somebody. Some of these public platforms ain't so public, and somebody got to be there near them. Somebody got to be there near them, or you got to make enough noise where they see you, and they'll come find you if you make enough noise. They'll come find
Bring
you.
noise in.
They didn't calculate this situation. Yeah, they didn't calculate that situation with that knee or whatever the case may be, with the chokehold or whatever. They didn't think that they would see these people. These people came out. They say that like these people came out of nowhere. No, you brought them out, you called them forth when you did what you did. You called all of
Exactly.
this forth.
Let me tell you something. When George called his mother, when he said, "Mama, help me," when he said it, I'm thinking that his mom was still living, and he's just calling out for her because that's just how much in pain and in agony he's in. But then when I heard the brother saying, my mom died 2 years ago around this same time, a few days before, a few days after, I forgot which one he said. But the mom recently died in May around the time of his death. And I said, that's what happened. When he called his mother, she came, got her son, and they said, we getting ready to set this nation on fire. Better yet, we going to set the world on fire. Okay, we got Paris, we got Germany, we got Europe, we got Australia, New Zealand, all in the little four corners hitting up, frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So the other side is definitely intervening. I don't care what nobody's saying. His mother came and got him, and they set the place on fire. Simple as that. And they not ashamed to set this country on fire. And I'm not mad at them either. It's a rebellion, it's a rebellion, and it ain't like America haven't been through any rebellions before. Nat Turner had a rebellion. Harriet Tubman had her rebellion. There's been so many rebellions, so this ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? America been burnt before. This is not the first burning, and it won't be the last burning. Okay?
Over 200.
So when you instigate and you wake up the sleeping giant, this is what you get. You get crushed. That's what it is.
That's right.
I'm sorry businesses had to get mashed up, but if you have good insurance, you'll get it fixed, or you better write to the government, tell the government, hey, because of this is why my business is messed up. You got to pay. Simple as that. And some business owners said they don't care. They could burn my business down if he needs justice. It's about justice, So it's not everybody that's uptight about their business being burned down. But anyway, yeah. Have a good conversation tonight. And give thanks for speaking on behalf of the woman, because we need that.
That's it.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for your time and attention again. I'll see you on June 21st at 9 p.m. We're going to be dealing with that new moon, and it's a summer solstice. We're going to have a long summer night, the longest summer night in the year out of the whole
Yeah.
year. Daylight will be extended a little longer. So instead of it getting dark like 8:30, we'll be getting dark like 9:15, something like that. But yeah, just keep it positive, everybody. And until next time, be blessed.
All right. Peace.